Hello, my fellow humans and aliens. Welcome. I'm Callie. My pronouns are Z and Zer. Glory to the people. How y'all doing? So, today's story time. I would say today's story time about the time I tried to cook for my ex, my ex in Jamaica. Um, yeah. Long story short, I met her. I went down there, spent 2 months down there, trying to get to know her and whatever. So then I tried to cook. So let's get into the story. So she told me to come over because when I went, I was staying with my sister. So we meet up every single day, or she'll sleep over and I'll sleep over. But this day there was no sleeping over. So I called her and I'm like, "Hey, what you doing today?" She's like, "Come over." So I went over. We were hanging out, and then eventually we got hungry. So we got hungry, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to cook something, or do you want to order something?" And I'm like, let me cook so I could like show off my skills. Like I'm a good cook. I'm a big chef. No, I tell myself I'm a big chef. I know how to cook. So she's like, okay, cool. And I'm like, have you heard of this thing called pilau? She's like, nah, what's that? So I explained to her what it was and like that I've made it before and who taught me how to make it and yada yada yada. So she's like, okay, that sounds interesting, but like, are you sure you know how to cook it? Because this is the only thing I have left in my freezer and I don't want you to waste it. I'm like, no, no, don't worry. I got this. I know what I'm doing. It's not going to go to waste. Just trust me. She's like, okay, I trust you. What do you need me to do? So we start preparing the stuff, took the chicken out and defrost it, whatever. Start preparing the dinner. So it comes down to making the dinner. I'm sorry, every time I look back at this moment, I have to laugh because you'll see. So I put the chicken on the way how I know to make it. I put the chicken on and it's cooking. And while it's cooking, she's like washing the rice because we're cooking together and whatnot. And like, oh, it's a nice experience, cooking with your boo thing. But anyways, so she's preparing the rice, like she's washing it and whatnot. And the chicken is cooking. And then I'm like, okay, let's check the chicken. So we checked it. And I really don't know what it was, but we'll see. So I checked it and I'm like, I think it's semi-ready. Because we didn't have all the seasoning and everything that we needed. So I had to like try to substitute some things. So I was just going off of what I think, if I think it may be ready to cook together. So I'm like, okay, I think the chicken is ready because it's been cooking for a while. She's like, are you sure that don't look ready? I'm like, no, because you can't fully cook it out to the max, like, because you have to cook the rice with it. She's like, all right, do your thing, but keep in mind, if you cut my food, you're buying back my grocery. I'm like, girl, please, this is not grocery. You only have like one thing in your freezer. How am I going to buy back a whole shit of grocery? Anyhow, so yeah, we put the rice in and it's cooking. Yeah, it's cooking. So when the rice was done, when the pot was done, well, we thought it was done, I took it off and she's like, that don't look right. That don't look appetizing. I'm like, it it looks right, I think. You know what? Best thing we could do is try it. Let me tell you, when we tried that food, it was horrible. There was no going around. I was trying to go around it saying like it's not that bad, it's edible, we can eat it, as long as we're full. She's like, yeah, and I'm not eating that. And I'm like, it looks cooked. We could try it. She's like, I thought you were a big chef. I'm like, first of all, I didn't say I'm a big chef. I said I know how to cook and I've cooked this before. But you know what it is? I think it's because I'm in somebody else's kitchen or I'm in a different country. You know that when you go to people's house and you try to cook, it just cooks differently from when it's your home. You have your own seasoning and they have that's just my way of seeing it, and that's what I told her happened. That it's because her burner is different. It's like because I'm in Jamaica and like it's a different stove. And she's like, girl, you're full of shit. And I'm like, okay, well, we can't eat this because the shit's not cooked. The rice is cooked, but the meat ain't cooked. Nothing else in the pot is cooked. We can't eat this shit. She's like, yeah, we can't eat it. So we try to give it to her dog. When I tell you, not even the dog ate it, she's just laughing. Not even the dog ate it. Like, she would not let me live it down. 4 years later, and she still talks about the fact that my cooking is so bad that the dog wouldn't eat it. Like, the dog went to go smell it, and he was just like, hell no. I don't know what the fuck that was, but oh, hell no. And until this day, she won't let me live it down. Like, it was a horrible experience, y'all. And I still stick to my story until today that it was because it's a different burner. It's not my fault. She didn't have all the ingredients. So therefore, technically, it's her fault because she didn't have all the ingredients and the burner was different. That's the story I'm sticking to. I know it sounds stupid. I know it's dumb, but that's the story I'm sticking to until today. Because she still talk about it. She talk about the fact that the dog didn't want the food. Yeah, when I tell you, when I saw that dog didn't want the food, I knew I fucked up. Like, it was bad. If a dog don't want to eat your food, especially in Jamaica, like a homeless, like a mangy dog in the yard, and they don't want to eat the food, you know it's bad. You know it's shit. It was shit. It was horrible. Oh, but I can cook. Don't get it twisted. I do know how to cook. I'm actually a really great cook, actually. But that was my only time. Was it? Yeah, that was my only time messing up, and I think it's nerves. The burner was different. It's all her fault. Let's just blame her. Let's just blame her for it. Yeah, I'm full of shit. Nah, I didn't cook that shit properly. It was really, really bad. Like, horrible. But this was a short story, so thank you for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave your comments down below, and please share. And don't forget, hit that notification button so you can get notified when I post. And thank you guys.